Ladies and gentlemen of the press, dear guests, it's nice to have you here on our Strasbourg press conference. And I would like to say some words on the Global Compact on Migration. On the 10th and 11th of December, there will be an international congress in Marrakesh, Morocco, with regard to this Global Compact on Migration. And the participating countries are set to sign this agreement. And although this joint agreement isn't binding, it's still meant to be the legal framework on which the participating countries commit themselves to build new legislation. And one basic element of this new agreement is the extension of the definition of hate speech. The agreement wants to criminalize migration speech. Criticism of migration will become a criminal offense. And media outlets, and that also concerns you, that give room to criticism of migration can be shut down. The Compact for Migration is legalization of mass migration.
Well, thanks for watching Iron Brigade here. You can find all my stuff at johntoll.net. What you just watched was a minute and however long that guy not from here with the, Euro flag behind him. That lets me know that they're probably up to no good. And what is he telling you? That you do not have the right. It would be illegal in their perfect society for you to criticize mass migration, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know how that butts up against your freedom of speech here in the United States, but if you ever wondered why the folks behind the flu, the folks behind Harvard, MIT, thought speech, identitarian politics, and the fucking hoax that is global warming all want to take down your very, very freedom of speech, your ability to arm and defend yourself, heaven forbid we assemble in the same place without the fucking governor of Michigan turning herself into the next fucking Al Roker and telling you that your life's going to change based on how she explains the weather to you. Well, how come that's not fucking illegal? Why can I not have that be illegal, that bitch is not allowed to look down a fucking camera and lie to the fucking public? How about that? All right? Well, I'm fucking shot out of a cannon here. All right, look, let's get to the simple fact of the matter. Work backwards from what we know. In 100% certainty is that you and me, we're going to be fucking dead one day, all right? And when we leave this mortal coil, we are going to step confidently through the veil with the same confidence that I stepped into this studio, with the same confidence that you walk through every single doorway and opportunity through your whole entire life without thinking, because that's who you are. But that's not the society that the people who want to engineer this fear, well, the kind of freedom you and I enjoy is not the freedom that allows them to create these grand mysteries of experience that they then get to pump fear into. All right? Let me guess. Climates are going to change. The weather's the weather. It changes. Things come and go. The earth is on a grand wobble, and it's wobbled before, and we have all of the metrics on what happens when the earth wobbles. And when it wobbles, guess what? The weather changes. And when the weather changes, seas rise, seas fall, people move. All right? And that's just how it is. What they've done is they've tried to perpetuate the hoax that it's our, need for industry. It's for our need to actually advance ourselves as a civilization. Our ability to advance our ideas wise. And guess what? They get to do the same thing, and they have. And they have you based on whatever fucking Bono created teenager they've marched in front of the world to say the fucking weather is bad. And where's that chick been? Because nobody is buying it. We've seen it all. We're over it. It's propaganda, it's marketing, and no one's listening. And when they knew nobody was listening, when they said, shit, maybe the elites have overplayed their hand, well, maybe instead of global warming, which nobody's buying, we can sell a world pandemic, which then people will buy. Because it doesn't matter what the world bureaucracy around the planet is, but it's about their subversion of our rights as Americans to create a bureaucracy that supersedes the United States, and then we have to then kowtow to their beliefs based on this Yo-Yo's video up top. Any criticism based on whatever they fucking you're not supposed to talk about is hate speech for them. That should be rule number one. Suck it. Bruce Willis fucking should have thrown you and all your brothers off that fucking Nakatomi Tower. How about that? Thank you. Swung on at a drive. Global warming. It's a hoax. The carbon credits that they were going to create, they were going to tax us to create an economy while they allowed China to run coal plant after coal plant, and they get to pollute to the fucking nth degree while we pay for it. No one bought it. Now you have the latest pandemic. And if it's not carbon credits now, well, then it's vaccine certifications. It's the profits that are going to be made off of testing, off of the vaccine for the testing, off of the vaccine trials for the testing, off of the certification program that you have to have if you want to fly or get a job or get your driver's license or go on a cruise or go to another country. When they couldn't sell you in global warming, they're now trying to sell you, and the same people with the same way are trying to sell you these vaccination certifications. So what did we find out today through a reporter's question? And Tom was nice enough to put that on my Facebook page at John Toll. $3.7 million was invested in 2015 to this virology lab in Wuhan. What they were working on and what they had figured out is they could take two backbones of COVID viruses, fuse them together, and then add on top SARS, and they add on top MERS, which makes it more virulent. And they fucking brought that out, and whoever was in the administration, wink, wink, Joe Biden and Barack Obama, said at the time, well, we can't have that here in the United States, but why don't we ship it over there along with $3.7 million that went through who? One, Mr. Dr. Fauci, also known for, hey guys, remember back in the 80s when HIV and AIDS was a thing? They were two different things. And then all of a sudden, through marketing, through propaganda, and one Mr. Dr. Fauci, guess what? Now HIV and AIDS were the same thing because they needed the scare of AIDS in order to sell the fear into HIV that allowed them to do all of their vaccinology, is that virology, whatever the fucking term they're using, to create levels of vaccines. And sure, sometimes we let them loose somewhere in India, it turns half of a fucking village retarded, and as long as fucking Bill Gates is not held accountable, then he's on to the fucking next ruse. My favorite part in all of this, all right, is that 3.7 million sent over there for them to work on this. Did they release it over here first? I don't know. Did they release it over there first? I don't know. Did it accidentally escape? Did they fucking do something to allow it to spread? Seemed like they were doing a whole lot of, hey, why don't you all come fucking party over here with us where all of these other people are come from so you all won't get sick and have a good time. Seems like that's what they were selling. So if this was bad enough in 2015 to ship over there along with $3.7 million that went through Dr. Fauci, then perhaps we shouldn't be surprised at what's coming back. And then we're not surprised that in 2017 that Dr. Fauci says that Donald Trump or the next person who wins the election is going to be inheriting a pandemic. We sent the 3.7 over there. Joe Biden and his kid flies into fucking China on Air Force Two. They walk out with $1.5 billion. You ever start a business and go to China and just they hand you $1.5 billion? Nothing to see here, folks. And now you have whatever this fucking pandemic, the amount of fear that was pumped into this based on it's going to be 2 million dead, shut it all down. All right, we'll fill the hospital. We got to practice doing that. Now we know how much it costs. Did you fucking try to do that to us? Guess what? You're going to fucking pay for it. No more World Health Organization. No more UN. No more being a part of this world where you're trying to scare us using... Imagine trying to scare a carbon-based being with carbon-based fucking gas in the air or whatever. Where as a carbon-based being, they have us scared of the very building blocks of what we are. So that we'll war with each other for their profits. The people selling the carbon credit scam, the people selling the vaccination certification programs. The use of vaccines is dangerous. The hair on the back of your neck, like I said, as long as it's still legal, should go up. If you try to find out what is in a vaccine, they won't tell you. They can't tell you because they're based on whatever fucking rules. And if you finally get it to the point where you can sue them, you get a grand total of $250,000. That's how much they think of you. And that's how little your freedom of speech means to them in their grand sense as they scare their way into power. God bless America.